Okay. Hello? 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 Hi everyone, thanks for your patience. And we were just wrapping up our chaperone meeting. A couple of housekeeping things. As you walked in on the back table, there were little pieces of paper with your student's name on them. That's how I'm taking attendance tonight. So if you have not yet, when you leave, would you please grab your student's name so that I know that a family member was here, and that this meeting is being recorded and I am going to share it. I'm happy to share with everyone. You can relive these wonderful moments together. And then also, as a parting gift, all the students get a little swag. They get a Bob Rogers travel drawstring bag that was sent to us. So feel free to grab one of those. They're on the chair backs. And I think there's a pile on the table as well. So that is for each student to have to take to the trip. Great, thanks. My name is Jennifer Yancey. I am the vocal music teacher here and the brainchild of this excursion. I thought, what we haven't done in a while is go someplace. Let's go someplace together. The choirs had a trip planned in 2020 and it was sadly canceled 1 month before we were supposed to leave. And so we have not ventured out in 5 years, and so we are excited to be offering this to our band, orchestra, and choir kids, and to go have a wonderful arts experience in New York City. So I want to take a second to introduce our other teachers that are here who will be going on our trip with us.
I'm Allison Yeager, band, jazz, percussion.
And I'm Mike Doucette. I teach English and have nothing to do with the music department. I'm just the benefactor of Michelle Cavish's trip because she had to leave the district. So, but I know a bunch of these kids through the theater work here at the school, and I'm excited to be along.
Yes, thank you. We're excited to have you with us. Oh yeah, wrap it up for Dice. Thank you. So you've all received this slide deck. We have been updating it today as the three of us have been talking. So it is a fluid document, and so it's always great to take another look at it, especially when you start packing in the next couple of weeks. So I just have a little table of contents about what is all in this slide deck. Here are the teachers that are going, and these are our parent chaperones. Amelia McConnell, Lori Fellens, Jill Waterworth, Jeannie Vogeley, Samantha Locken, Gwen Radke, Darren Port, Kim Moreland, and Kristen Couillard. They are the brave souls who want to come with us. So, and with all of you students. So you'll be meeting them as we go along in our travel plans. So we have 65 span choir and orchestra students attending our trip. That's a great number. I'm accustomed to about half that on a trip, so there's lots more bodies and people, so that's exciting. In the itinerary, I'm not sure that you know this, but if you click the link, you get a more detailed time slot itinerary on the slide deck. I just included the highlights of what we're doing each day. The first day is going to be your most exhausting day. We have to be here at 2:30 in the morning, and then we leave at 3, we drive to Chicago, and we fly out of Chicago. I have found in all of my times when I show up at 2:20 to get to the bus, most kids are already here. It's very funny. Bus position is everything, right? Where you're going to sit. So, but just know it's going to be an early morning. Please try to get some sleep. Don't pull an all-nighter. For most of us, now the one thing that's a little bit unique in this trip, well actually it's not because this happened to me before too, we are in 2 flights. And so there is a flight of 67, well more than 67, but 67 people are flying out at 7 a.m. and will arrive in New York City. And then I and 9 students will be flying out at 9 o'clock and we will be meeting the group in downtown New York City, and we'll figure out how we're all joining it together at the Museum of Broadway. So we're hoping that everyone's flights go well, and there's no delays or anything like that. But our main things is that we're going to meet up at the Museum of Broadway, which is a brand new venue for us to be able to go visit. We will check into the hotel around 4 o'clock. You get a little turnaround time there, then we're going to go to dinner, and then we're seeing Six, the musical, or the New York Philharmonic for band and orchestra students, which is supposed to be a great show. Second day, on Friday, is our National 9/11 Memorial and Museum, which is going to the museum, I don't know if you've been there before, but it's a lot to take in, and it's a very emotional experience. You're going to have lunch in Brookfield Place. All of our lunches are at student cost. That means that they're not built into the cost of the trip. And I can tell you safely that you're going to spend somewhere around $20 to eat. Everything there is way more expensive than it is here, although if you go to Subway now, you still pay $13 for a meal. But anyway, please, unless you can hit up, if you're in the area of a $9.99 pizza slice place, but definitely look up Brookfield Place. You have access to all of these places that we're going on the Google, so look it up and see what's there. And then we're going to go to One World Observatory, which I've not been to before. That's exciting. Chelsea Market and the High Line. And then our second night, we have a DJ dinner dance cruise. Again, a new thing for us. So that on the Hudson, it's a really cool boat. You get dinner, there's a dance. We're going to go mess around out in the Hudson and then come back. And that is our evening on Friday. Saturday, we're doing up close and personal workshops. So choir kids, you're going to do stuff with actors and stuff from the show, and instrumentalists. You'll be meeting people in pit orchestras and just professional musicians in New York City. Again, we'll have lunch, and then that's your Choose Your Own Adventure Day. Choose Your Own Adventure was my way to make sure that people get to see exactly what they want to see, and you get to do the work and walk around and be amongst New Yorkers, right? So without us having to sit on a bus trying to go to a zoo somewhere in traffic. Choose Your Own Adventure needs to be organized ahead of time. I'll be giving you a document which will tell you where you end up in the morning after your workshops. This is where you are. This is how much time you have. And this is where you need to be by this time. You have to figure out where you want to go, how much it's going to cost, how long it's going to take you to get around. I believe we have Metro passes, so you have subway access. So you have to do the work ahead of time and formulate the groups, and everyone has to agree, right? Because you'll have one adult with you, and then your small group, and you'll all figure that out. So I'll help you out with that template, and giving you your adventure, and you can use Google Maps to just map that out. So if I'm at this location, I want to go here, how long will that take, how do I get there, etc. Okay? We will meet up at Hurley's restaurant for dinner, and then we will all go see Moulin Rouge. And then that's it. Then we come home. You'll be thoroughly exhausted. We leave in the morning, and then we come back and we have lunch somewhere. I think we usually stop at one of the Oases on the way back from Chicago. Are you familiar with those places? Yeah. So we'll stop there and get you fed, and hopefully, and what?
There's only 2 left.
Oh my gosh, there's only 2 left. And then we'll get you home, hopefully by 3. All of these times are dependent on flights, right? Like, we don't know if anything's going to be delayed. We don't know what the weather is, but this is all approximation of what the plan is going to be. Okay?
When you sign up for the app, you can get push notifications from us too about whether we're on delay or not.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Okay. Air travel information. How many of you have flown before? Good, hands down. How many of you have never flown before? Don't want to say. Okay, well, good. You have friends who will help you with that. A couple of things. So, your carry-on bag. So we're going to have carry-on bags. Those little doodads that you pull behind you, right? That's what we're going to bring. We are not checking luggage. That is not going to be a thing for us. So you need a carry-on bag that can fit in the overhead bin. And there are the dimensions of the bag. This is stuff pulled from the TSA website, right? So I'm not making any of this up. So generally when you travel, like when I travel, I have a backpack that has my purse inside of it, and then I have my carry-on. And that's it. My backpack goes under my seat, and my bag either goes above, or it gets what's called gate checked. And they put it under the plane for me, and then they bring it back out onto the plane when we land. Okay, so you get 2 things. People who carry purses or fanny packs or crossbodies, you have to know that you have to put that in your backpack. They don't let you on with 3 things, it's only 2. Backpack, thing. If you want to use your drawstring bag as your backpack, you can. Otherwise, if you want to bring a backpack, that's totally fine. And stuff that in there, and if you want to go light some days, like you decide. But backpack, carry-on bag. Follow the TSA guidelines for 311. So you get 3 ounces, actually it's 3.4 ounces, and everything has to fit in 1 quart-size Ziploc bag. Okay, so your shampoo, if you use face wash, your conditioner, I'm trying to think, what other liquids do we have? Your makeup, moisturizer, right? Like you have to really start to economize what it is that you're going to do. You also have to claim those in your liquid. As you go through TSA, they'll be barking at you of what you have to take out. So you usually take out your bag of liquids and stick them in your bin and along with all the other things. But if you don't know what 311 is or you want to review, feel free to click on that link and it'll take you to the TSA website. Keep them safe in a zipper pocket until you get through. Why did I say that? It's supposed to be, I was going to talk about ID, first of all. Yeah, I don't know why I said that.
Because you were just trying to get them to keep it handy because you have to take it out of your carry-on.
That's why. So you just keep it the present in your backpack or whatever. Then you can stick it in your carry-on before you go. Okay, so everyone needs to bring a picture ID along with their ticket, which you'll get at the airport. So your photo ID, if you have a learner's permit or a driver's license, that would be perfect. If you don't have those, your school ID will work. It is suggested that even those under the age of 18 have a photo ID. Okay, so you all have one for school. So if you don't have a driver's license, then you need to bring your school ID. Keep them handy through check-in and security processing. And then keep your ID and your wallet and all your things in a zipper compartment. Here's another fun story I've experienced. We get off the bus in Milwaukee, we're going to go to New York City, and we get up to the TSA weavy thing, and the student says, Miss Yancey, I've lost my wallet. All their money, all their ID, everything gone because it fell out of their pocket. So ever since then, I think that was 2014, I have been crazy about zippers. Zippers. Put your stuff in a zippered pocket. Make sure it is on you and that you have it at all times because that is a horrible, horrible feeling when you lose all your stuff and then there's nothing that can be done with it. Luckily, we had an admin with us. He forwarded the kid a bunch of money and it all worked out. And we just don't want that to happen to you. So make sure that everything is safe in a zippered pocket. Yeah?
If you were depending on that school ID, and check now that you have it, because it can be reprinted, but it can't be reprinted at 2:30 in the morning on the day we're leaving, right? So just think ahead, like if I'm going to bring my student ID, I better check that I have it now, and then if you don't, let's get on the ball about getting that reprinted here at school, okay?
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Doucette. All right, and then medical form and consent forms. So thank you to those who have turned in their med forms already. That's fantastic. That's that piece of paper that got handed out to you on Monday. Thank you, Leah. Yeah. Along with that are a couple of things. And this form came from our district office, from Human Resources. They would like a copy of your insurance card. So if you would attach a picture of your insurance card to your form. Also, if your student takes medications, they ask for a list of those medications on your physician's letterhead. And so my plan for this would be going through my chart and just sending a note to my person, and most likely they'll send me a PDF, and that is a super easy way to get that done. Like, by no means do I want this to cause like headache and we have to go to the doctor's office, but my chart should be like the easiest way to do that, and we need to attach that as well. God forbid something happen, we want to make sure we can expedite care as quickly as possible. This list will not be shared with anybody. We will hold on to the med forms, and again, only in the case of emergency will this information be looked at and known by the teachers here. So if you could please accommodate us by giving us the insurance card and your list of meds, I know you wrote it down, and the list from your physician, that would be really helpful. And this is also the liability and release form. Usually when our students travel, they have a formal permission slip. The last page of this medical form is that permission slip. If you read the big long paragraphs that Gina Jonan has written out, that's all the release of liability for us and the school district, and that you assume risk, that there's an inherent risk whenever you travel. So please make sure that you are reading that and understand what you are signing. The last thing about meds is that students can dispense their own medications unless it is a controlled substance. And you would know it's a controlled substance if you have to show your driver's license when you go to pick it up. Other medications that don't require that, we do not need to dispense. But if they are controlled, then Mr. Doucette, Ms. Yeager, or myself will be the person who will administer those medications. All right, who's going to take rules and safety? All right, Ms. Yeager, over to you.
So I like to tell students, make good decisions for yourselves and for the people that are around you. Thinking about community over self, and being able to see a situation for what it is in front of you instead of trying to future cast and whip yourself into a frenzy thinking about what could happen. Be aware of what's happening in front of you and make decisions about that moment right then. Adapting, overcoming, flexibility, the ability to problem solve, be proactive, being able to be aware and off your phone and out of your earbuds at a intersection in New York City, for example, and having eyes up, be listening when adults are giving directions. All of those things will be really helpful to you, and using common sense, right? Is this something, is this a choice that is going to be good for me in my environment at home? Is this a choice that would be good for me in my school environment? If the answer is no to either one of those, most likely it's going to be a no on the streets of New York City as well. So just think ahead, use common sense for the situations that you're in. Also, because those are long days, there's lots of walking, right? If you know ahead of time that you have, you know that you need to stay hydrated, you know that you need to have a break in your day, or you know that you're going to need a snack at 10 a.m., be proactive in those ways as well so that you can stay happy, healthy, and safe and enjoy everything that this trip has to offer. So our OHS behavior expectations here at school go for the trip in New York City as well. Even if you're 18, everything that you would have to be beholden to in the handbook here also goes for every moment of this trip. It doesn't matter what location you're in, whether you're in New York City or you're in O'Hare. So making sure you understand that. That includes smoking, vaping. Again, it doesn't matter if you're 18. It's the behavior guidelines of the OHS handbook that follow for everything on the trip. Being on time sometimes is a little difficult for teenagers. We get that. Again, plan ahead because we have to think about the community over the self, right? If we all 65 of us have to be somewhere, we all need to make sure that we can make that travel happen. So being on time for all departures. Students will not go anywhere in New York City without an adult chaperone. We maintain a ratio of 1 adult to 10 students, and actually we're better than that. We're about 1 to 7 or 8 at all times. That's a Health and Human Services ratio that legally we adhere to on this trip. And using the buddy system, so at least 3 in a group. For example, if we're on the choose your own adventure and you have 1 adult and there are 7 people in your group, and 2 students want to go into a store that's right next to another store where the adult is waiting outside, take a 3rd person with you, but never travel alone.
Can I say something about the time thing too? Yeah. Go back. We're going to be operating under the Miss Yancey time system for the trip, and you all know what that is. If you're on time, you're late, and if you're early, is to be on time, right? So always plan to be at least 10 minutes ahead of time. always with Miss Yancey.
I need to work on that too, by the way. So security checks. So again, being prepared to show if you have a belt bag, if you have a purse, be patient. Sometimes lines are long. If there are security checks at shows or going into museums, just being aware of that and that we'll get where we need to go. Just trust in the system and we will get there on time. Again, you said do not go exploring on your own without an adult with you. That's a non-negotiable. And be sure that your device, if you're bringing a device, which we do recommend for this trip for students to have a device, make sure that it's charged at all times. So again, making sure that you have a cord that you can carry on your person, because we'll be out of the hotel for large chunks of time, huge swatches of time. So having a shorter charging cord that you can keep in your purse or in your belt bag on your person is a good idea. Mr. Bissett?
Yeah, they kind of put me as the point person on a crisis plan. So just understand that we will be using every means possible to communicate with students, chaperones. Our first priority with anything, even if it's like a power outage or something in the city, we'll take attendance, make sure we have all our kids, we'll make sure you know where their locations are, we'll have a safe place to meet, which is most likely going to be the hotel, and we'll also be communicating with the school district and their officials as well, who also most likely will be communicating with you as well. So, I think nothing's going to happen in our plan for the crisis. There is not going to be a crisis, right? But we will be prepared to communicate out when we need to and make sure that you are always informed at all times. So, that was it on that one. What else is there?
My favorite rule. This is my favorite rule.
Yeah. So you have to take advantage of the bathroom whenever you see it. Always be alert for where a bathroom might be near you and go and try. I know it's like you talking to a toddler. Maybe you should try. Because it is not a public bathroom-friendly place, right? Even at Starbucks now, you can't go in and use the restroom without purchasing something. So in our public buildings that we're in on those tours, use the public bathrooms there, right? Also, with that hydration, keep in mind, am I not going to have access to the bathroom in the next 3 hours? Maybe I don't slam 60 ounces of fluid or Monster Energy drink or something, right? So just keep that in mind.
Yeah, it's not like here, you guys, where you can literally walk into any place and be like, can I use your bathroom? There is a lack of public restrooms in New York, so you have to utilize the spaces when we're there. Oh, yeah. Okay, how many of you downloaded the app? The the card that came with your medical form? That's the Moments That Matter app. Parents, you can also join the app and track your child the whole time. I know, right? The point of the Moments That Matter app is an excellent communication piece for us without having emails or phone numbers. You just join the app. The other cool thing is that students upload photos throughout the time that we're there, and then the company puts together a video for us that we will all get to keep as a keepsake. And so it's a way for us to be able to message students, to be able to know where our students are located in the event of something happening, or if we're in a place, where are they at? And also, was a message? Oh, just upload photos and have a treasured memory of our time together. So yes, it's for parents, it's for students. Please, 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 students, we will require you to upload that, because we're not going to upload 65 phone numbers into our telephones like 3 times or 12 times with all the chaperones. Like, that's just not going to happen. So we need you to be able to do that. If you would like, I will put both sides of the card onto the slide deck in case you have misplaced your card and you don't know where it is. I'm happy to do that. But in the slide deck, there is a link in that app demo. You can see what the app is all about. What to bring? Oh my gosh. Okay, so we do a ton of walking. Lots and lots of walking. And I have done that because there have been times where we've been sitting on a bus in New York City traffic and we've had to cross an event off of our itinerary because we were not going to get there. So I said, no more buses. We are walking and we are subwaying. That's how we will get from A to B, to C to D to E to F. So please make sure you bring sensible shoes. This is not time to be the fashionista from Oregon, Wisconsin, dropped into New York City. This is all about comfort. We logged anywhere from 18 to 25,000 steps in a day. So this is serious walking. Don't be a hero. Get yourself some good Hokas. Deuce will put you in touch with his site that he likes to buy.
Yeah.
Please be checking the weather. Gosh, we have access to all the information. What is the forecast? What am I going to need to bring? We're outside a lot. We walk places, right? So have a hat, have earmuffs, have layers. Maybe you, I don't know, I dress like a grandma, so I won't make suggestions. But you want to make sure that you're warm. Bring your charging cords for your cell phone. Coats with zippered pockets, crossbody bag, coat with an inside pocket, anything that can keep valuables as close to you as possible. Please don't become a crime of opportunity, right? Because you just have this big open bag that you're holding in your hand. And then someone runs by and steals it. And I'm not trying to be a doomsdayer either. Like, it's not like we go to New York and we're just constantly like on guard for crime to happen. But you just have to be smart about it. We want everything to be close to ourselves, to be zipped up. I've had a parent on a subway, not on my trip, but on her own trip. Her purse just sat next to her on the subway, and someone reached in and stole her wallet. Like, it happens. You can't just be, wide-eyed. We're not in Oregon anymore. So you just have to learn just to be safe and protect yourself and keep yourself stuff close to you.
Can I add a couple things, Jen?
Yeah.
I will say, too, that that goes for backpacks as well. So if you like to carry your backpack around with you, with your water bottle in it, etc. I was just in Chicago last weekend, and I took a small backpack, but I made sure that my phone was in the inside zipper pocket of my coat with my ID and my debit card, and the only things that were in my small backpack were like Kleenex and water bottle and, like chapstick, etc., right? So just keeping your valuables as close as possible, because if you're standing on the subway and you put your wallet in the very outside pocket of your backpack because that was easy and convenient for you, you don't know, right? It can be kind of packed on the subway, so I'll add that. Oh, I also want to add that we are not dressing up for shows, okay? So you're not wearing your Prada heels and you know what I'm saying? Like, we're not wearing prom dress attire to shows. And we won't be going back to the hotel for large swatches of time. So we'll be out in the afternoon, and then we're having dinner, and then we're going straight to the show from there. So please do make sure that you understand, like, if you want to wear something cute, great. However, it has to be something that's walkable. And
make it like a Zoom cute, like waist up. Hey, and then you have sensible pants and shoes on the bottom half, right? Like,
that's called the Jennifer Yancey bag.
What to bring earplugs. There's a lot of people in a room, and you may or may not have had slumbies with each other, so you don't know what kind of sounds there are. Or maybe, I don't know where the hotel is. Maybe there's sound outside the room. Maybe you're a sensitive sleeper and you need to have, maybe the person next to you has to have white noise and you don't. Earplugs are like the perfect thing to have just in case. You can grab a whole box of them for like $3 at Walgreens. Bring any prescriptions that are not controlled substances or over-the-counter meds for yourself. A lot of times on these trips, your stomach is going to be the number one issue. You're exhausted, you're eating different foods, you're not eating on the regular schedule. So tummies, we've had a lot of nausea. If you suffer from you need antacids, you need Tums, or you need things go south and you need some Imodium, you have to really predict and think for yourself, what would I need in the worst of cases when I'm so exhausted and tired? What does my body do? And bring those over-the-counter meds. We will not be stocking a Dwayne Reed amount of meds for you, right? You have to be able to foresee what you think you might need and bring a little bit of those things. Bring your personal hygiene items. Please don't rely on the hotel, because the bottle's this big, there's ass serving in it. Bring something to do on the plane, maybe a book, maybe whatever puzzly games, whatever you can stick in your backpack, but bring something to entertain yourself if
maybe
you need
get
to.
Off your phone.
Yeah,
have
that's
a
not
nice conversation with another human being.
credit. You can't stare at your screen for that long.
And I'd like to add about the stuff for the plane. It will be a pretty short flight, to be honest with you. And on top of that, your backpack and your carry-on on the way home is what you would put anything that you bought.
Oh, yeah.
On this trip. So you don't want to overload with, I might want to do. My wife was horrible about that. Like the last 2 minutes before we leave the house, I might want to craft, so I'm going to go grab this. And there's no might. It's if your phone is going to keep you entertained, if your earphones are going to keep you entertained, or a book, because you're going to want to bring things home, and your suitcase, that space is going to be super, super limited. So make sure that you keep some space in that bag and it's not overloaded.
That's a good tip. Thank you. Bring nut-free snacks. Bring snacks because we could be delayed, or if you have specific dietary needs, or if you don't eat breakfast, but you eat at 10 a.m. This is what we're saying. We get breakfast at the hotel. Usually it's like some fruit and some scrambled eggs or a Belgian waffle maker. I don't know, but if that's not your jam, the next time we eat is on your own somewhere that you don't know yet where it is, and it's going to be delayed. So please make sure you're bringing foods. We also it's important that when we are in a community, we have people with allergies, severe allergies that are airborne, so that's why we say just nut-free, like fruit snacks or something that does not involve peanuts or true nuts or anything like that. But it's good to try to grab a box of whatever. I don't want to say granola bars and have peanut butter in them, but like something, and jam those in your backpack so you have a quick fix if you need it. I'm someone who gets really hangry, and when I don't know where my next food is, and it's not pretty, so I will definitely be bringing snacks.
One thing to add on that too is, like, Sour Patch Kids are not snacks. No. Okay, those foods, those things drain you of your energy eventually. Also, think about, like, if we're going somewhere and it's 6 o'clock at night and you decide to slam a Monster Energy drink, you're probably not going to want to go to bed when you need to. So just think about your body as a system. It's a temple. Keep it balanced, and you're going to have a good trip.
Exactly. That's really important. Thank you. Spending money, that's an important thing to bring. And I did contact our tour representative at Bob Rogers to find out what are we bringing these days. Because I have had students who, I'm such a Debbie Downer. I've had students who have used a debit card and then she came back and her checking account was depleted because there was a skimmer in the thing. So I'm like, ATMs, I don't want to invite anyone to have to use an ATM. We were told to bring a mixture of things. Bring some cash. Street vendors they don't do the tappy tap thing or take your debit card or credit card. So you do want to have some cash. If you have a debit card or credit card loaded into your phone, that's great. That would be a wonderful way to protect yourself because a lot of stores use those. You probably will want to buy a souvenir at one of the musicals or at the Philharmonic, right? When you go out at halftime, intermission. And you want to buy a magnet or a t-shirt or something, right? So those places usually do take credit cards. But please have a mixture of things, but don't bring $500. Like, that's not smart, but you do want to have a little bit of cash on you in case we hit a food cart or a vendor or somebody, a fair, so that you guys can talk about that as families, what would make most sense for you. And enough, yes, and on top of your spending money, you do need to have enough cash for your lunches. So you need to eat on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So like I said, if you allot like $20 a meal, that's $80 right there in just food. So I don't want you to go nuts and spend all your food money. You're going to have to budget that. Personal finance coming in to play with that. Oh, are we at the end already? This is great. We have included our cell phone numbers if in case something would arise while we are on the trip. So if you needed to get a hold of one of us, we have provided our numbers, but we would ask that you not call the tour company or the hotel, or if there's, you can obviously call your own student, but if there's something that you want us to know about or a message you want to relay to your students, feel free to use our numbers.
And just once again, so please don't use these numbers before the trip. If you have a question about the trip or need to contact us about the trip before we leave, please continue to use our email or our school phone for correspondence.
Or the Bob Rogers app. You can reach us all in there. We signed up today. That would be a perfect way. that is the end of our presentation. What questions do you have? Apollo.
During Choose Your Own Adventure, do you happen to know off the top of your head, just so you don't remember how much time you'll have during it?
The question is, how much time do we have for Choose Your Own Adventure? You will finish workshop either at 11 or 11:30, depending on if you are going to the symphony one or the musical one. And then you have to be at the restaurant by 4:30. So what is that, 5 hours?
11:30 to 4:30.
Yeah. Okay, so you have that much time. Phoebe.
Should we bring like a nicer outfit for the dinner cruise, or no?
Should we bring a nice outfit for the dinner cruise? Well, considering that our day starts at 9 a.m. and it goes all the way to the dinner cruise, I mean, if you want to walk around in whatever that is, again, I'm not encouraging like high heels and dress-up stuff. I'm telling you, your shirt is going to tell volumes about your style. That's all you really get, okay?
Can I say one more quick thing about sensible shoes? The weather in New York it can be rainy, it can be cold, like high of 47, low of, like 28. I would not wear Crocs or open-toed shoes, especially, there's trash and there's uneven sidewalks and puddles to walk through. So it's miserable to walk in Crocs and then all of a sudden your socks are wet for the entire rest of the day, right? So closed-toed shoes, something that's more water resistant, would be a better choice.
And even if it says 57 degrees, there are buildings everywhere. There's no natural sunlight. It's cold because it's just...
And windy.
And windy, right? So you just have to be really sensible about what it is that you're going to wear and what to expect while you're there. It's not open air like Oregon is, right? It's just huge overwrought with buildings, and it's hard to find some sun unless you go to Central Park, which I would highly recommend on your Choose Your Own Adventure. Sophia.
Do you know if the planes have TV screens on them?
Do the planes have TV screens on them? I don't know that. Depends on what kind of plane we would be on, so no. Assume not. Philip.
Usually, planes that are smaller and less
You're talking about economy seating, dear?
Just the size of the plane.
Like the size of the plane will generally depend,
Yeah.
especially the length of the plane will usually depend.
Okay, right. And we won't know until you actually set foot onto the plane. Yes, or oh. There's all sorts of hacks about how you can grab your phone in your case in the puke bag and then put it in the thing and then the tray and then there you go. Hey, I just helped you. Apollo.
That was great commentary. Anyways, I was going to say, what actual, part of New York City are we?
What part are we in? Manhattan?
The hotel is in Times Square.
Yeah. Midtown? Thank you.
Thank you.
Midtown. Thanks, Chris. Not Manhattan. Okay. Yeah. So the address for the hotel is there. Again, you could Google map that and see where it is. Yeah. What other questions? Any other hands up? Yes?
Will you be handling getting them excused from school Thursday, Friday, or do we need to do that?
We will take care of it. I've already done the field trip, and so now I need to put in the names of who those kids are. Yep, no, you do not have to. This is a school function, so it'll show up as gray FT on their IC.
And it does not count against their
10.
absences for the year.
Right. Yes?
So, just for the New Yorkers that are all the city dwellers, it's a very crowded, busy city. So, when you guys stop in the sidewalk, just don't stop in the middle of the sidewalk. There's all sorts of people walking around all the time. Just kind of push off to the side, just sort of city etiquette. When you get on a subway, you wait for people to exit said subway car before entering. So, keep your wits about you. It's a busy city, but just don't stop and make everybody go around. Be cognizant of it. It's a big city, okay?
And there's lots of honking, and the yellow ones don't stop.
The bikers,
Yeah.
you gotta keep your head on a swivel and ride the bike lanes, because those DoorDash riders are.
Yeah, and last time I was there, they didn't really have those. The occasional messenger, but now the DoorDash is a thing. Yeah, there's going to be scooters and bicycles and taxi cabs and car everywhere. So yeah, you definitely have to look alive. Ace. No, you get to decide who is in them. But you have to be in groups of like 6 or 7, right? So we have enough people to go with a chaperone. So we don't have this group of 2 and this group of 2 and this group of 3. Like you have to go together as a group and problem solve. And we do need to get those organized so you can decide what it is you want to do. And if that costs money, you all have to be on board. If you all want to go to the Empire State Building, then you all have to pay up and buy those tickets ahead of time and get a time that you can be there and know how you're going to make that work. Okay, but there's a ton of free stuff to do. Just Google free things to do in New York City. We have the Staten Island Ferry, Central Park, the Roosevelt little chunk thing on Roosevelt Island you can go to. You can go to Chinatown and look around and see all this stuff. There's so many cool things to see. Just look up free stuff to do. And then you also can ride the subway to get there. So that's also an experience in itself. When do they do their choose their own adventure planning? So I'm encouraging kids to reach out to their people that they know are going on the trip, and they can just start their own little group chat and figure that out. Like, I don't want to have to assign, but we are going to have some sort of spreadsheet we send out to you to say who is in a group, so we will know which chaperones to put together.
Miss Nancy and I will be in touch like in the next week with that protocol that we're going to follow to make those groups. Yeah.
Yes, Zach.
When will we know the room assignments?
Room assignments come out about 5 seconds before we're going to hand you a key and you're going to go to your room. That is by design, because we have done our best and we know our students and what they need and who they need to be with, and so you have been paired with people in groups, and we don't have the bandwidth to decide, no. You're just going to go there, you're going to crash, you're going to wake up in 7 hours, and we're going to do it all again, and it'll be great. Okay?
You spend so little time in your actual hotel room.
Mm-hmm.
So little time. And
so
that time
that's
is
why
sleeping.
I don't want to deal with all the stuff. Any other questions that you have? No? Great. So a couple of things. Don't forget to take your student's name so we know who attended and we know who to send the video to. Don't forget to take a bag if you have not. If you have questions in the next 3 weeks, please reach out to us. Students, start packing now. Get your suitcase out. This is my New York suitcase. And then start figuring out what it is you need and what you don't have and what you need to get. Do not wait until Wednesday, the 26th. to go get all your stuff. Start planning now, get your groups assembled. Okay? Feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions. Thank you all for coming tonight.
Thank you.
Bye.
See you soon.